She left me for her coworker days before our wedding, so I let her think she had a second chance, then crushed her hope completely. I, 29M, thought I had everything figured out. A decent job in IT, a modest apartment, a loyal dog named Milo, and most importantly, I was about to marry the woman I had loved for nearly 4 years, Anna, 28F. We met during a mutual friend's birthday party. She was witty, gorgeous, and had that kind of energy that made everyone around her feel alive. I was hooked from day one. Our relationship had the typical ups and downs, but we were solid, or so I believed. We moved in together 2 years into dating, adopted Milo, and shared rent, groceries, and dreams. I proposed to her on a quiet beach during a vacation in Goa, and she cried tears of joy. It was one of the happiest moments of my life. The wedding was supposed to be a small one, close family and friends, nothing over the top. I paid for most of it. I didn't come from money, but I saved for years to make sure it'd be special. The venue was booked, the rings purchased, our honeymoon to Bali planned and paid for. Everything was set. Then, exactly 11 days before the wedding, she sat me down and said she couldn't go through with it. I thought it was cold feet. She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "I've fallen in love with someone else." Just like that. No hesitation. No remorse. Turns out, it was her coworker, Jason. Some finance bro she'd mentioned once or twice, always brushing it off like he was just another office friend. Apparently, they'd been emotionally connected for a few months, but she didn't want to hurt me until she was sure about her feelings. Sure about her feelings? I was crushed and furious. But here's the kicker. She didn't just leave. She moved out the very next day while I was at work. Took half the kitchen stuff, most of the bedroom decor, and the damn coffee machine I bought. She even took a framed photo of us at the beach. Why? I'll never understand. I spiraled for a while. Canceled the wedding, told everyone, lost about 1.2 Indian rupees locks in non-refundable expenses. My parents were pissed, my friends were shocked, and I was humiliated. I deleted her number, unfollowed her on every platform, and dove into work. I took on extra freelance gigs, picked up running, and spent more time training Milo. I wasn't going to let her ruin me, even if she broke me. But here's where the story takes a turn. 6 months later, on a random Tuesday evening, I got a message from her. It was short. "Hey, can we talk?" I stared at it for what felt like an hour. My chest tightened. I didn't respond right away. The next day, she texted again. I messed up. I thought he was the one, but I realize now I made a huge mistake. "Can we please talk in person?" Apparently, Mr. Finance Bro wasn't the fairy tale she imagined. He cheated on her, emotionally ghosted her, and left her to pay rent on a flat she couldn't afford alone. She was broken, and suddenly, she remembered the nice guy she left behind. Well, I wasn't that guy anymore, and I wasn't about to let her crawl back into my life like nothing had happened. I had a plan, not just to say no, but to give her a taste of the pain she'd served me on a silver platter. I didn't reply right away. Her messages sat unread for 3 days. I wanted her to feel the silence, the same cold void she'd left me in when she packed her bags without warning. Eventually, I responded with a simple, "Sure, let's talk." She suggested meeting at a small cafe we used to frequent. Her idea of comfort and nostalgia, probably thinking I'd melt back into old memories. I agreed, but I chose a different spot. Somewhere public, neutral, and cold. No sentiment attached. When I walked in, she was already there, looking thinner, tired, and definitely not glowing like the woman who once broke my heart for her true love. Her smile was sheepish, nervous. She stood up like she wasn't sure whether to hug me or not. I didn't move an inch. We sat. The conversation started awkwardly. She went into full confession mode. Told me how Jason turned out to be emotionally unavailable, how he slowly started detaching once she left me, how she realized he only liked the chase. And once he had her, she wasn't exciting anymore. She said, "I don't expect you to forgive me, but I do wish we could have a fresh start. I never stopped thinking about you." Right. Now she remembered me. I played it cool. Told her I appreciated the apology and that I was open to reconnecting, but needed time. That I'd been hurt deeply and wasn't sure if I could trust her again. Her eyes welled up. She nodded like she understood. Inside, I was already 10 steps ahead. I didn't want her back. I wanted her to think she had a chance. Over the next few weeks, we met a few more times. I never initiated. She'd message first, ask to meet, ask about my day, try to cook my favorite meals. I let her. I wanted her to feel like things were slowly falling back into place, just enough to raise her hopes. I made sure she saw the new me. Fitter, more confident, even casually mentioning a girl I was seeing casually but wasn't serious about. That part was true. I was seeing someone, but I kept it light just to mess with Anna's head. The more she saw me doing well, the more desperate she got. One night, She even cried, saying she knew she'd made the worst mistake of her life. Said she wished she could take everything back and marry me right now if I'd just say yes. I didn't. I wasn't done yet. My birthday was coming up, and I used that as the perfect setup. I invited her to a party I threw at my new flat, a bigger, better place I moved into after a few successful freelance projects. I made sure it looked perfect. The guest list was curated. Friends, a few coworkers, and Priya. Yeah, Priya, the girl I'd been seeing quietly for about 2 months. Smart, kind, funny, and absolutely stunning. The kind of woman who didn't need to betray people to find love. I introduced her to everyone as someone really special. Anna's face dropped. I saw it. She smiled, tried to play it cool, but I knew the moment she excused herself to the balcony to cry in private. My best friend confirmed it later. He caught her wiping her eyes and texting someone furiously. Probably one of her backup plans falling through again. I wasn't cruel that night. Just calculated. I let her stay. I thanked her for coming. Then I moved on. But I wasn't done with the revenge just yet. After the party, Anna went quiet. She didn't text the next day, or the one after that. I figured she finally realized I was gone, really gone. But I wasn't satisfied yet. Not just because she left me, people make mistakes, but because she left cruelly, without warning, and thought she could just crawl back in when her fantasy crashed. She never apologized properly until she had nothing left. And even then, it felt more like desperation than regret. I wanted closure on my terms. A week after the party, I invited her out again. Just her. I told her I wanted to clear the air once and for all. She replied within 5 minutes, saying yes, sounding hopeful. We met at the same beach where I'd proposed to her a year ago. She was nervous, kept fidgeting with her scarf, eyes flicking between me and the water. I brought a small box with me. She noticed it almost immediately. Her voice trembled. Is that? I nodded. I handed it to her. The engagement ring I'd given her, the one she'd returned in a small jewelry pouch with barely a word 6 months ago. I thought you might want to keep it, I said calmly. Her hands shook as she opened the box. Her eyes filled up instantly. I don't deserve this, she whispered. You don't, I replied flatly. But that's not why I brought it. She looked confused. I brought it because I want you to remember what you gave up, I continued. Not just the ring, or the wedding, or the life we could have had, but the man who would have done anything for you, who actually loved you. I could see her lower lip trembling. I was broken for months. You didn't just leave me. You humiliated me. You replaced me like I was disposable. But now, I've rebuilt myself. I have a woman in my life who respects me, who didn't need to test someone else to figure out I'm worth it. She tried to speak, but I cut her off. I let you think we could work again, just long enough for you to feel hope. Because I wanted you to understand what it's like to almost have something, and then lose it forever. She wiped her cheeks, but I didn't feel bad. Not even a little. You should keep the ring, I said, standing up. Not because you deserve it, but because every time you look at it, I want you to remember who you could have had, and how you lost him. Then I walked away, just like she did 6 months ago. Only this time, I was the one in control. I got into my car, drove home, and never looked back. That was a year ago. Today, I'm engaged again, this time, to someone real. Someone who stood by me when I wasn't at my best, not someone who only showed up when I was shining. Anna? She messaged me once after that day. Said she understood everything I said. Said she hoped one day I'd forgive her. I left it on read. Because the best revenge? It's not yelling. It's not being petty. It's not even making someone cry. It's letting them realize, slowly, painfully, that they can never hurt you again. That they don't matter anymore. That you won. And I did.